Well. Look where we are at again. You know, um, I wish this becomes like like a normal thing. This used to be a normal thing, and for this to be some sort of a rude awakening for teams around us, teams who just bet us 2 weeks ago is a big statement. Is a big statement. There were so many normal things in this game. Kamavinga getting an obligatory first half yellow. Villarreal running riot, cutting us in half whenever they wanted to, all around the midfield. But another thing was normal too, that we came back from 2-0 down. And I can't lie, I was preparing for the worst post match reaction we have done ever. But, the boys gave it all and managed to turn it around against, I must say, all odds, man, all odds. So, on that note, welcome back, Madridistas, to Let's Be Real podcast. Hola, Madridistas, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. Happy days, happy days. Before we dive into the happiness, welcome our esteemed panel. You know me, I've been here always. Welcome Javier, who has been missing in action for a bit due to unforeseen circumstances, which, in my opinion, could have been prevented. But it's a good cause, so I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna, slate him for that. But tell me, Javier, how has it been? How has tonight been, especially?
It's the definition of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Absolutely.
First time we have Mr. Hyde, and second time was Dr. Jekyll. Just like that, like completely two different teams. Both of them, for some reason we talk about this later on the show, but it seems like the two teams change their mind in the dressing room. Hopefully for us, the second time was our time, and yeah. I was expecting as well. Like it will be a horrible of podcast, but here we are once again, like the phoenix rising from the ashes.
Absolutely. Phoenix risen from the ashes, truly, well and truly. I just hope this is just the starter for things to come, for, better things to come. But yeah, like in my opinion, you spoke about how the teams kind of switched their mentality at halftime, and we came out, the team looking to fight, and hungry to get back into the game in the second half. But in my opinion, the game changed when Villarreal lost Foyt and Albiol, if I'm not mistaken. That was a huge miss for Villarreal, in my opinion. But we had to get the job done. We had to capitalize on so many overloads we created in the second half. First half, the stuff that I've written from whatever I saw of the first half, it is like a page. It was that bad that it is a fucking whole A4 sheet paper, one side. Like there were so many things wrong with the first half, how we started the game off absolutely in the wrong foot. But when it comes to the second half, I just had four lines. Danny Ceballos, Tensio, uh, Carlo Magic, and Ben's, somehow managing to find some sort of, form that resembles like a third of what he did last season. But let's get straight into it. First question, Javier. You weren't here for our mini crisis episode yesterday. So I want to ask you this personally, yeah? Like when you heard that Carlo's gonna drop Lunin for Thibaut, were you surprised?
No, no.
Mm,
Like we said, this was, and I still hope there is an inflection point to move on from
mm,
the Super Copa fiasco,
mm,
right?
mm, mm,
But imagine that if we lose today,
mm,
there's two titles
mm,
lost in the same week.
mm,
So Ancelotti knew that, and for the first 55 minutes,
mm.
we're out of two competitions back to back.
Back to
Yeah.
back.
And neither of those were Thibaut's fault, but this is the kind of games that you have to talk to Lunin and say, guy, I'm sorry, the
Mm,
Copa is yours, but I cannot um, lose two competitions in the same week because otherwise the team mentality will collapse. And we need um, the team mentality to be strong for the next, like I said, the next 10 games will define the whole season. You
mm,
know,
mm,
it is
mm,
the last game against Barcelona. We have to move on. This against Villarreal, but we have Bilbao this weekend. So
on Sunday. Yeah.
there's no time to lick your wounds or celebrate your victories for the next 3 months or so.
Yeah. Yeah. It's back to back to back. It's relentless. We have games coming in thick and fast, and like rightly, like you said, like we have literally no time to reflect upon good nor bad things. Um, so in your opinion, like, do you think Lunin is coming back into the team for the quarterfinal?
Yeah,
He
I
is,
think
yeah.
so. Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
It's completely a different game.
mm,
Unless it's against, I don't know, Barcelona or Atletico, I will
mm,
say Lunin is back because
mm,
you have room to spare.
mm, 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 mm,
You
mm,
have
mm.
you have breathing time.
Right, right, right. Yeah, that's a very good take because I was very annoyed by the fact that he just abandoned Lunin. Now, when you speak to me like that, it gives me a different perspective of, oh, you know what? Like, even though Spanish Super Copa and the Copa del Rey are, the least of our priorities in terms of titles, losing it both in the space of a week is a fucking catastrophe. So I kind of empathize with Carlo why he did that. But let's get into the first half, man. We were kind of expecting yesterday, at least while we were, me, Farouk, and Jacob was kind of discussing the whole mini crisis we were having. We were thinking Vinicius Tobias is going to get a start tonight, but that wasn't the case. We thought Rudiger is going to get dropped. That wasn't the case. And in my opinion, we suffered. We suffered. Two aggressive centre backs. I'm going to keep using using this term all the while these guys start together. They can't complement each other very well. Like, Javier, what's your take on the centre back situation?
It's it's difficult for me because I am reflecting on this subject for the past, I don't know, weeks, maybe the whole month. I still think that Militao and Rudiger will be my partnership, and I explain why. Because I think the huge problem in the game against Barcelona
Mm,
was the lack of Chouameni. So Militao tends to jump a line and try to, like recover the ball. But if that doesn't happen, it's 1-on-1 or 1 against 2 against Rudiger because we, yeah, Rudiger is fast, but we're not seeing the best Mendy. We're not seeing the best Carvajal, Lucas Vaz,
Mendy,
anyone.
Mendy,
So
Mendy for me was the only guy who can walk away from the pitch holding his head high in the first half. Mendy was the best player in my opinion in the first half. But yeah, go on.
for me, and probably the second best, the whole team was Nacho in
Mm,
this game.
mm, mm,
But I'm reflecting on this. I still think Militao and Militao and Rudiger can play together, but
mm,
n- almost none without Chouameni. We need Chouameni, and I'm gonna talk about this probably the whole show, because that's the key missing part that reflects on, especially on Militao, because
mm.
Militao, if if he doesn't have Chouameni, he tends to 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 be both,
Yeah.
to play his center back and play like a center defensive midfield. And that doesn't work at all,
Mm,
especially when you have another chaotic center back like Rudiger. Maybe if you have Nacho, or maybe if you have Alaba, somehow, if you're Militao, somehow you can manage to do that.
mm,
But if you're not, if you both have the same kind of play,
yeah.
you need is someone like Chouameni. There's
Mm.
no way that you can play both of them without Chouameni and expect they don't commit some kind of error
All right.
in.
Yeah. Yeah.
but but if you see, not they commit those errors in, not as a center back.
Mm, mm,
They
mm, mm.
commit those errors trying to recover the ball in a
Yeah.
position that is
Trying
not
to
theirs.
anticipate getting out of position. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm, 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 mm. No, I totally understand your point. Like, even Vishal in the group was making the very obvious fact that Chouameni, when Chouameni doesn't play, the dynamic between the midfield and the defense is weird. Like, but in my opinion, I still think even with Chouameni, it is still up in the air. Like, you can't, like, in my opinion, you can't, like, just point it down to Chouameni's absence. I get it. Cruz, as as the midfielder who's supposed to sit and dictate, is not going to work. Was never going to work. I have no idea why Carlo went with Cruz to be the sitting six in our midfield, especially in the first half.
because
But yeah.
he tried. Do you remember? Sorry, he tried
Mm,
Camavinga in that position a few times, and it was even worse.
mm, mm,
So
mm, mm,
if you have those options, you have the option of Kroos,
yeah.
Camavinga, Fede, or Ceballos. What else can you do? You know,
Mm,
Kroos was not the best option, but he was probably the only one. So in that regard, I think it's when he substitutes Ceballos for Kroos, it
yeah.
wasn't position for position, because we need two goals. So they basically said, all of you three can defend as a block, and all of three of you are going to attack. So it wasn't that Kroos play a bad game, but he's not a defensive midfield, and
He
like you
can't
said,
do the job. He can't do
it's
the
not
job.
going to work.
We have known this for years, but I get you. I get your point that like, it is down to us having limited options. But even then, with the Chouameni absence, Rudiger can't let Rudiger absolutely can't let Gerard Moreno execute a flick while falling down with his back to the goal.
Well,
And with the finish, you can't do anything about the finish. It's just one in a million finish from Capoue. Like, there's nothing even. I don't think even fucking Oliver Kahn could have done anything about the shot. But you shouldn't be in a position like you. If I was in his position, see, I haven't played professional football, okay, at the highest level, but from the outside looking in, if I was in Rudiger's position, I wouldn't be so tight to my man. I would just back off a bit, anticipate what is he gonna do, and try to, maybe block the pass he's trying to attempt. Since he was too tight, once he, like, twists his body, he can play the pass anywhere. So in my opinion, Rudiger just got the whole thing wrong. And even for the second goal, if you notice, Militao kind of does the same thing. He gets attracted to the ball. He rushes towards the ball, and I think it was Moreno again, right? Like, who
yeah,
flicked the
yeah.
ball into Chukwueze. Villarreal was exceptional. Like, I just can't give them enough praise. Like, they knew what we were about. They knew we were having a bad time. They knew that we wouldn't be 100% up for it, and they came in all guns blazing. And yeah, big credit to Seti and his crew, man. Like Villarreal looks like a proper team. So much talent all across the pitch. Danny Parejo was bossing the game. Yeremy Pino, Chukwueze, and Moreno.
Yeah.
Like
If
it
you
reminded me of fucking BBCs, like how interchangeable they were. Like Moreno was sometimes on the right wing, sometimes on the left wing. Chukwueze was down the middle sometimes. They had so many chances. They could have scored at least four in the first half, have you?
yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So
I
many.
mean, if you watch this Villarreal, you can
Yeah.
understand why this team managed to move to the semifinals of the last Champions League.
Mm,
They
mm.
were tied in a Champions League semifinal against Liverpool. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
people tend to forget that it's like what 8 months ago, 10 months ago, but this Villarreal team is very good. I think Dani Parejo is one of the best midfielders in Spain. He
Mm,
was very good in Valencia, but and they say like, oh, probably moving for one of the uh, worst enemies of Valencia could affect his mindset, but no way. Moreno is one of the best number nine as a pivot, and those the two of the goals was like that, especially the second one. Like you said, the first one is an screamer, and Thibaut has nothing to do with that. But on the second, it's an excellent play for
mm.
Gerard Moreno, and he set the ball to Chukwueze, like just finish it. You
So
know,
easy. Like I just can't. I just couldn't believe what I was watching because with one pass, like four guys were taken out of the equation. One ball. That was all it took. But before we break it down further, there is like 17, 20 people watching us at the moment. If you like what we do, and if you want the home for Real Madrid analysis, post match previews, all sorts of debate, smash the like button and hit the subscribe button. And it's gonna mean a lot to us because we have been doing this for over a year, and we are officially or unofficially on the road to 1K. And yeah, any kind of support is massively appreciated, people. Massively appreciated. We have some comments as well, which I didn't want to break the flow of the conversation, which is why I didn't go through it. um Timo is saying remontada season starts now. I really hope so, Timo. I really hope so. Ashik is here as well. Usual suspect, another usual suspect. Hope you're doing well, my guy. He says, as if you guys didn't know that they were going to win. Well, I guess hindsight is a wonderful thing. He also says, I knew it from kickoff they were going to win. It was all part of Don Carlo's method. Italians are known opera and operatic dramas. Man, he is over the moon. Um, Doris is there as well. Hope you're doing well, Doris. Ashik says easy match. We just needed to make it dramatic so that we can have something to talk about. LOL. The club looks out for our social lives, giving us something to talk about. Um, yeah, absolutely. Like it almost seems like these comebacks are like scripted. Yeah, like you just know that in the end it's always in the script for us to do crazy things like this. Um, but the center back situation, I hope you're right, Javier. I don't want to talk about it anymore because it gives me, you know, it gives me trauma. Let's put it that way. It is from going from Ramos and Pepe, Ramos and Varane when Varane was actually good, to these guys. Although they won us the Champions League, Alaba is missing. I get that. Nacho when he steps in is brilliant. It is not as comforting. Like you don't have that kind of confidence in our starting centre backs, unfortunately. But let's talk about our wing backs tonight. Nacho, you said, had one of the best games in the white shirt. I thought he did. The amount of times Nacho came back and covered for Rudiger and Militao's lack of positional awareness was mental. The amount of times he lashed onto like balls going nowhere near his position. He just comes out of nowhere and clears it or does anything. Like it like seriously it reminded me again of why Nacho is very underrated. Like whenever we need him, he's always there. Um, and the strike and the huge contrast to Rudiger's performance was, if you notice, Javier, whenever Rudiger tried to clear the ball or intercept the ball, he always gave it away. He always gave it right back to the opposition. Like I've written here on my notes, Rudiger was a fucking -5 in the first half.
Yeah.
Like I seriously believe if it wasn't for a vintage Nacho performance and obviously Mendy playing one of his best games of the season so far, like we would have been down and out. But yeah, man, like personally for me, my favorite of the first half was Mendy. He was the only guy who was giving it his all. Like he was imperial. He was really good. Um, like did you think Mendy kind of redeemed himself a bit tonight, Javier?
Uh, partially, I would
Partially.
say, yeah, because I
They were
mean,
he set up two brilliant balls, if you
yeah,
remember.
yeah, yeah. Though both of them, I we can talk about this if you want, but the
Mm.
play with Vinicius and Mendy that came to the cross for Federer,
Correct.
Federer need to score that. You know,
Absolutely.
I
Sitter.
mean, if I have to talk shit about one of our boys in the first half, more even more so than Rudiger, for me was a very bad game for Federer all around, but especially in the
Mm,
first half.
mm, 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 mm.
Not because he missed that. You can miss one chance,
Yeah.
but the lack of intensity, which is one of the Fed's main qualities, it was very obvious for me. Yeah, and talking about Mendy, yeah, he redeems, but just a little because he's playing semi good attacking,
Mm, mhm.
but he's not defending well. And he's not defending well for the past, I don't know, months.
I get your point. I get your point.
It's so one of the reasons that he wasn't going for the World Cup. So
Mm.
for me, it's crucial
Yeah.
for the Real Madrid as an organization to analyze. And yeah, Mbappe is great, and I don't know, Bellingham is
Bellingham.
good,
Yeah.
but we need two strong uh, wings in the defender, both both sides. We cannot rely on Mendy all year, and we cannot rely on very prone injury Carvajal. We
Mm,
cannot. For
mm.
the sake of, I mean, they still have the chance for. I shout out to my boy Reece James. Chelsea's gonna need to sell someone,
Reece
and
James, unfortunately, is not gonna make it happen.
they say like, well, we're probably gonna wait for Alfonso Davis. If Alfonso Davis is the plan, I can easily uh, uh, have another G with that, with Mendy and Alaba. I wouldn't mind if they say like, no, Alfonso Davis is the real plan,
Mm.
like they do sometimes in the past. Like we're not going for this because we're waiting for this one.
Mm.
Sonny, uh, if you
Before
let
you
me,
go on,
I'm
Javier,
gonna.
just give me a second. There's the chat box is popping off. Like I need to read some of these comments.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna. I,
Yeah,
uh, I just wanted um, to shout out to one of the messages in the chat because I think
yeah.
he's absolutely right. This
Go on.
Tasaliba said like, "Go guys, let let's not this remontada distract you for the fact that we played and continue to play like shit for a while." And I agree.
Mm.
This remontada was not um, with the champagne football in the second half. No, it
It
was
wasn't
like,
champagne, but we showed tremendous fight. Tremendous fight. We rotated the ball really well. We had so much more composure that I haven't seen such a composed performance in 45 minutes since the World Cup. Like, can you agree with that?
yeah, but it's not good. Like if you put this game and in a perspective, yeah, we won, but we probably didn't deserve to win. In terms
I
of,
wouldn't say that. That is so harsh. Not tonight, Javier. No.
okay, I mean,
I mean, I respect your opinion, but I would consider that a bit harsh. We absolutely deserve to, like come back because we were good. We were good in the second half. But
we
before we
create
move on,
chances. Still in the first half, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I totally agree. The first half is a write off, man. First half was nightmare stuff. But before we discuss further, Elmas in the comment section, he says Chouameni is definitely missed, and the victory was needed after the defeat in the league. Absolutely, 100%. Ashik is back again. He says, "How can you not love this club? Life lessons every season. It's not over until the last whistle is blown. Just like life, your fight isn't over until you have taken your last breath." Bro, poetry. I like the poetry being, flown. Like this is what our team does to people. Like I love to see it. Love to see it, man. This club is truly special. Truly special. Um, Pan Oga says for a couple of years, January is very strange for Real Madrid. Like we have been discussing that for quite some time. Quite some time, actually. Just give me a moment. The chat kind of disappeared for a second. Um, Turk D says if Rudiger keeps playing like he did today, he will prove he was worth the transfer. You think so, yeah? I think he really massively stepped up in the second half. In the second half, I would say Militao was the better centre back. He completely redeemed himself from the first half. I would say Rudiger was a -5 on my books, but he made it back to like 0 or 1 or 2. Like he was good, but yeah, like the damage was already done in the first half. Ashik says Real Madrid, real motivators. Well,
Yeah.
well, well.
I mean, Rudiger won a ball, a very crucial ball against Jeremy Pino, if you remember. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
could be easily, I think that will be the, I don't know if the 3-1 or even the 3-0.
Was it Rudiger or was it Nacho the last ditch tackle on Pino?
No, no, well, Nacho won a tackle against Pino, crucial in the first half, but
Yeah.
Rudiger in the second half. You know, like
Okay, okay, okay. Right,
they,
right, right.
it's completely body position. Like, I don't know, Rudiger is like, I don't know, 190 meters, and Jeremy
Mm,
Pino is like 170 something.
mm.
And he just pure speed and body, and they they ask for a
You know,
penalty. And
funnily enough, I can't remember. Was it before the comeback? It was
yeah, I
before the
think
comeback.
it was at least, I know it was before the second goal, but I'm not
Second
sure
goal,
it
yeah.
was before the first. I'm
Okay,
not
okay.
sure.
Fair, 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 fair. Because yeah, like after the second goal went in, it's all a blur.
Yeah,
But yeah,
well, after the second goal, like we said, and shout out to the chat, we are currently almost 40 people. So this is the essential of the Real Madrid. You know, when was 1-0, okay, we're down, we have created chances. 2-0, okay, we have time. 2-1, let's go, boys. 2-2, it was practically game over. I thought we were gonna move to the extra time, and Carleto's gonna
yeah.
make a few changes because I think they didn't want us. We didn't want today a penalty shootout.
Mm, mm.
So
And even
yeah,
extra time would have been very, very bad on our whole schedule, man. Like
yeah, yeah,
another
yeah.
120 minutes, bro. It's not ideal. But just give me a second. Let me just finish up with these chats. Tark says Nacho is definitely underrated, but we can't use him on the right. We are more in need of a right back or right winger than a striker. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah.
Facts. Nacho, Nacho, man. Like he can't give you a below 6. It is just out of the equation. Nacho doesn't go below a 6. Like he's just that consistent. Pedro Mari Arieta is here. Big up you. Tag says let's not even talk about the first half. I was ashamed. 100%. I cannot disagree with that. Elama says it's the midfield. Unfortunately, Casemiro's presence gave Militao and the whole defense a big boost. Facts again, facts. Chouameni, although he's pretty good, he's no Casemiro. Let's get it straight. Ashik says Pan Ogre. January is named after the two-faced god Giannis. Real Madrid plays the same way, I guess, as a tribute to Giannis. Anyway, Giannis or Giannis. Turkey again. Mendy is like Militao in my eyes. They have amazing games, but also have horrible games. They just stay. They just got to stay consistent. Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, the chat is popping off. But yeah, let's get back into it. Let's get back into it. Yeah, Nacho and Mendy, they did their part. Mendy, in my opinion, was the best of the crop. In the first half, Nacho had a brilliant game, according to you, Javier. I totally respect that. But moving on to the midfield, right? Cruz, Fede, and Kamavinga. Like, how did you think they fared in the first half? I thought they couldn't control anything
No,
in match 45.
they were completely dominated. Completely.
Absolutely bypassed.
Yeah. The one that I saved, and it was the same that I saved against Barcelona, it was
Mm,
Eduardo. And I truly respect even more of Carlo because he substitutes today Tony
mm,
Cross.
mm.
He can so easily substitute today Eduardo
Kamavinga.
well because once again he has a dumb yellow card.
Yeah, very dumb, very dumb. Dumb is an understatement. Oh my god! But like, you could even argue, like, if he doesn't make that challenge, like, you never know. You know.
Yeah. But it was a dumb yellow card, and he
Mm,
especially have this tendency to make dumb fouls.
mm,
But but I think Carlos saw the same as I did today. The only one
mm.
who was at least trying was Eduardo in the first half because Tony was absolutely lost.
He looked
He,
so frustrated when he came off. Like, the look was, I like, Tony Cruz is not the guy who has emotion on his face always, right? Like,
yeah, yeah.
he's very composed. But tonight, like, you could see from his face that he just had one of his worst games ever.
I mean, he's not that like song like Beanie or so,
Mm,
but he still has blood in his eyes. It's more like Benzema,
mm, mm,
like don't don't let you know that the fact that I'm not showing my emotions
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
mean that I don't have. And
yeah.
he know that he played a
Mm,
very bad game.
mm.
But once again, I have to shout out in the negative way to my boy Fede. He's completely lost uh, since the World Cup. I
I'd
mean,
argue. Let me argue this thing. Yeah. So, see, I've said multiple times on our podcasts, post matches previews, like, like combined 11s, beat anything, that I am not the tactical guy. Yeah. I go by eye test. When I was growing up, it wasn't about stats. It wasn't about zones. It wasn't about progressive passes. It was just my eyes telling me who is good, who is shite. Yeah.
mm,
For me, Fede in the second half, when he was asked to be the more deeper guy, he was excellent, in my opinion. He was excellent. He was at his best, or maybe at his best tonight, when he was kind of in a more deeper role when Cruz was subbed off and Ceballos came on. Do you agree with it, or did he have a poor game all throughout?
no, like you said, if the first half was -7,
Mm-hmm.
the second half was like probably +1. So
Fair?
if you're gonna to go with the same analogy as you did, I mean, yes, he tend to, but he was so more on the right, like he tends to back with Nacho and Asensio because the substitution of Rodrigo, and I'm gonna talk this later. I think that the two substitutions were crucial for us.
Mm, mm,
Not only was Cross having a bad game, Rodrigo was not there. He didn't help at all. Uh, Nacho, he wasn't created anything in the attacking role. So for me, the substitution of Rodrigo for Asensio was probably in the same level of importance of Tony, substitute by Ceballos. So in that regard, yeah, the change of those two key players helped Fede to cement his role in the second half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I've some people in the chat. Todd D was saying, like everyone did their job apart from Fede, which which is kind of again, like siding with you, Javier, in saying that Fede in general didn't have a very good game, which I kind of see why people can tend to have that sentiment, but given what kind of performances Fede has been putting out ever since the World Cup, I can take some sort of encouragement, from his second half. It was nowhere near vintage Fede, the rocket Fede we were seeing pre-World Cup, but it is something. It is something, and it is, at least in my opinion, a step in the right direction. And
Ah, for sure.
thank, yeah, and thank fuck that Carlo finally saw. I am pretty sure he knows as well, but it just gave me a reaffirmation that like he finally knows that, yeah, maybe Cruz can do a stopgap for like 45 minutes if we don't have Chouameni as the guy who sits. But he took him off and kind of asked basically, Kamavinga and Fede to kind of interchange like when to drop, and Fede most often being the guy who drops, and Ceballos being given a much more freer position. But yeah, the starting midfield, like going back to the discussion, starting midfield was not at the races tonight. But like all Carlo substitutions do, like they have something about them, man. Like they have this knack of knowing what the game needs, where the game has the space, and what the game requires. Players who are coming in fresh needs to do against, like tired legs, tired minds, and fatigue. So at the end, since it worked, like I got a big up Carlo again. Let's move on to the people who started up front. Rodrigo, Vinicius, and Benzema were anonymous in my opinion in the first half. They had a few sparks here and there, but come on, man! In the first half, Vinny was looking his usual self, poor touches, lack of ideas. Like couple of times he combined with Mendy. Mendy was like trying to give him a real viable option, at least tonight. And they had some neat interchanges, but apart from that, like Rodrigo was awful. Rodrigo was nowhere to be seen. Like, what is going wrong with Rodrigo, Javier? Like, I'm his biggest fan. You know that. Like, I hope most of you guys are aware that I'm Rodrigo's biggest advocate over here, and I just can't. That just breaks my heart that he's having this very uneven period in his Real Madrid career.
For me, I think the the three were bad,
Mm,
and I said it in the podcast before. I think both Rodrigo and Vinicius tend to lose so much when Benzema is not on,
mm,
because they know he's the main man. They tend to to see him like for a pass or a play, or they're they're almost seem frightened to attempt something that is not going for Benzema's. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. Like in the same regard that happened with Benzema and Bale when Cristiano was there.
mm.
If Cristiano was lost, uh, Benzema and Bale played bad,
Yeah.
but because they all the attacking that Real Madrid had in the past years, and I don't agree. It's focused in a single player, and when it's not working, it the whole system fails. But it doesn't have to be like that, because
Yeah.
Rodrigo and Vini can play together without Benzema, and they
Mm,
play together without Benzema, and they know how to play together. Or even so, individual. Like but they try to force a pass to Benzema. They try to force a, like some plays that if you are like playing well and everything's working perfectly, you can attempt those kind of plays. But in this kind of game that probably nothing is working for you, the plays that you need to do is like we talk again, Mendy to Vini to Mendy again, or Rodrigo to Vini and move to the space. They seem like frightened to attempt something that Benzema is gonna like um,
Yeah.
scream at them or so. I don't know. For me, was not 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 something to worry about that much. I
I
think it's
agree. I
just a
agree.
little bump.
It is not panic stations yet. Like he had like a World Cup to forget. Like it's not because he had like terrible performances all around, but because of the mess and whatnot, like it should have taken a toll on him. Like he's still young. He's very experienced. Let's not forget that. But he's still young, and he is kind of on the trajectory to become a fully matured professional. But like you said, it's still early days. But this was the thing that always bothered me, Javier. Yeah. I don't know why the false nine, playing behind Benzema thing was brought up. Like for me, that doesn't work. It might look enticing on paper. It might look sexy when you tell someone that, but like when it plays out, it doesn't work out that well, in my opinion. Like, do you think center forward or the second striker for Rodrigo works better? In my opinion, he had much more space, much more incisive runs and touches while being out wide on the right.
Yeah, for me as well. I mean, the number nine for Rodrigo, or the false number nine, is like in the same regard as, I don't know, Nacho in the right wing.
Mm,
It's a fix in a particular game.
mhm.
It could work, and you can, oh my God, this is the, like the we don't need a number nine. We have Rodrigo. Yeah, one game. But you when you watch a player, and you understand, like you said perfectly, that the feeling, this other thing doesn't have to involve a stats or so. If
Mm,
you see a player, like we saw glimpses of Eduardo as a left back,
yeah.
you can see potentially
Mhm.
that this could
He could do
work.
a job, but he can't be a specialist in that position.
In the same, like Rodrigo cannot be a number nine or even false number nine.
Mm.
Rodrigo is a
Excellent.
winger,
Yeah.
completely different of
Excellent point. Excellent
Mbappe.
point.
So sorry, of Vinicius. If we can compare, and we have this comparison,
Mm.
Vinicius is Mbappe and Rodrigo is Neymar. Both of them are wingers, and both of them play completely different game.
Completely different. You know what? That's a very good analogy. At least going by some of their playing traits and what they like to do, what they subconsciously does when under pressure. It's a perfect perfect profiling, in my opinion. Like Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo, Neymar, brilliant stuff. There you go. Javier, he's the expert, so like I wouldn't ever be able to come up with that. But yeah, big up Javier. Before we move on, there's some comments that I need to get to. Turk says Rodrigo is good technically. He has skills. He has better finishing than Vinny, but he needs better positioning. And I think they're trying to figure that out. Well, I hope they find a solution, man, because um, I don't want Rodrigo to be the impact sub forever. Neither do I want Kamavinga to go through that path. But a- at the moment, they are doing a job, and yeah, I would love to see some of that consistency being brought into what the management wants out of these young kids. Ashik also says Rodrigo has the potential and talent, but I feel that we overinflate Rodrigo's quality a bit. He's clearly not there yet, but he doesn't show the drive to take on players consistently enough. Um, You know what? I would just say Rodrigo's a different kind of player. He doesn't take on everybody. He doesn't take on unnecessary dribbles. But that's maybe just me being biased. But Turk says, just wish we could make a fusion of Vasquez and Nacho. Oh boy, will that be the perfect, I repeat, the perfect academy graduate prototype? A fusion.
That's the definition of Carvajal. Exactly that.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
Carvajal defends like Nacho and attacks like Lucas Vasquez.
That's a
I
very
mean,
good point. That's a very good point. But Carvajal, does he have the shooting boots of Vasquez? Does
no,
he? No.
but he has the cross of Lucas
Yeah,
Vasquez. It's a very good cross.
yeah. The delivery is top notch. I agree. One is good offensively and one is not. One is good defensively. Neither are both at the same time, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you can't get everything you wish for in life, my friend. But Ashik says Vinny shows no fear, but I always feel that Rodrigo at times holds back. He shows the fearless attitude on occasions. Well, um, it is just a like different styles, man. Different styles. Pan Oga says right now we need better defense with more energy, and for that, Kama and Ceballos are needed. Danny and Kama have more courage with playing forward right now. Ceballos fights at the fights like he basically says he gives it his all. I'm not yet convinced, man. Danny Ceballos is a very controversial figure in my in my uh, in my short span of doing this podcast, which has been like over like 1 year, because he has split opinions so much. And like some people know that I like Arsenal in the Premier League, and people have questioned me like how has he been at Arsenal, and I've told them my honest opinion. There was hype around Ceballos, but at Arsenal, like you could see moments like these when he does a thing or two, but it is about consistency. And the question, when he starts, will he be able to replicate this, when given the full 90 and when facing fresher players? He still needs to pass that litmus test. It is still a bit early, in my opinion. Ceballos is a very good player. I would say that he has risen in my estimation of him over the past 12 months or so. But yeah, calls for him to start, maybe a bit premature, a bit premature. Turk says, would it be too crazy? Would it be too crazy to try Mendy on the right? Mendy is two-footed, Mendy has played on the right with France. He is very two-footed. Mendy can do a job. I think Mendy has played on the right for us, if I'm not mistaken, sometime that we were in dire need of a fullback. Um, Turk again says, until we get a better left wing like Davis, Alaba is good offensively and defensively and works well with Vinny. Alaba at LB, man. I've read so many quotes that he has personally expressed his desire to not play left back anymore, and in my opinion, he lacks the speed, man. Just pure speed. He just is not the 23-year-old Alaba anymore. Unfortunately, he's much more suited to the center of the defense. But yeah, let's get back into it. Vinicius Javier, like, do you think it was some sort of a redemption in in the second half, at least for Vinny?
No. Once again, no, because the goal was the start of the remontada,
Hmm.
but it was like probably in the same regard of Chukwuese's goal. It was Gerard Moreno's play. I think the Vini's goal was Dani Ceballos play. And Vini, after that, still um, is trying to pick a fight with everyone. He
I don't
tried to pick
understand
a
that,
fight with Foyt,
honestly.
with Albiol, and then to Mandy and I forgot the name of the other center back. the one that substitutes Albiol. But
Cuenca. I said Cuenca.
yeah, Cuenca. And he tend to pick a fight with anyone.
Mm.
Even he was trying to pick a fight with Reina.
Pepe
So
Reina, yeah.
so one game it's okay, Vini. Uh, I'm not gonna talk about the my support for him in the racism controversy. I 100% back at him on that. But in these kind of games, you cannot pick a fight with everyone all the time, all the games. And this seems to be the tendency for Bini in the past, I don't know, since the World Cup. So not a full redemption because even so he scores the goals, he was out once again trying to pick a fight. You can pick a fight when you are 3-2 winning and it's the 89th minute, and like he did with Parejo in the last play of the game. That's the kind of fight that you need to play. So I'm still in the same regard as Rodrigo. I'm not worried about Bini, but someone once again needs to talk to him and say like, we need you. Every game we need you, but you're as a football player, not as a like this role of uh, someone who um, to tries to overwhelm the
Yeah.
crowd and the other team.
Yeah. He's basically trying to antagonize everyone. He's
Yeah,
trying to
that's
antagonize
the
the
word,
ref,
antagonize.
antagonize the opposition, fans, antagonize the opposition bench. But in fairness, it was a light moment. He was caught on camera smiling with Setien, if you recall. Like a light moment when we were still, I think, 2-0 down. Um, but I completely agree. But in my opinion, we shouldn't be too harsh on him. At least tonight. At least
No,
tonight.
no,
For me, I would be more critical of him when we are on the losing course and he is still mourning. Which, come on, man! Like, we all laud this winning mentality that our players need to have. And I think this is a side effect. The more I see of it, because if you remember, in the initial early stages of Winnie's mourning phase, like even I used to get very frustrated. But the more I see it, it makes me kind of understand. Probably it is just a winning mentality, and I think it is just being a part of Winnie being Winnie, and Winnie I think is always gonna have that bite, uh, for the better or the worse. But
yeah. Bini is
from
gonna
a
be Bini,
yeah.
and if you allow me, in the same regard, I think Bini is the true heir of Cristiano,
Mm,
and he has the same mentality. And Cristiano was the perfect antagonist for everyone,
mm,
and
mm,
he
mm,
still is. But what Cristiano understand and Bini needs to understand is you cannot antagonize everyone.
you got to pick your fights. Yeah.
No, not pick your fights. You
Mm,
have to be the best player in the pitch
mm,
all the
mm,
time. If you truly want to antagonize everyone against you,
mm,
you just need to be better than everyone. Score
mm.
more goals, dribble even more.
Yeah.
Not because Ronaldo, uh,
He did. He let the football do the talking
yeah,
more. Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
he talks because he
Yeah.
talks a lot. You know,
Mm, mm, mm,
he scores a goal and intends to go to the center back, and you're like,
yeah.
now what? You
Yeah.
know, this
Yeah.
is if Vini is like that, I admire him either way. But put the football first, and then the fighting, not
Mm,
not fighting and then the football, because more so than not, it's not gonna work in your favor.
yeah. 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 Like if things are not gonna go according to plan, people are gonna use this to vilify you. But I totally agree. But from a purely performance perspective, I think Vinny was all right. Vinny was our sole threat for large parts of the game, large parts of the game, yet again. And like the more you realize how helpless he is most of the time. Like I just feel I just feel so happy for him because like most days, especially during this bad phase that we have been having, um, Vinny fights for lost causes, but at least all his fight, all his grit, all that anger that he had resulted in a beautiful comeback tonight. So I think he did his part, especially for the third goal when he cut in across from the midfield to the right, and he could have. If I recall, that there was so much space on the left, he could have maybe laid it off to the left, but he thought, you know what, I'm gonna go into the right channel and like create an overload on the right and move their defense to the right, and then pass it back to Asensio. Asensio brilliantly pulls it back to the left hand side of their defense where Ceballos is waiting. And in my opinion, Vinicius played a very big role in the third goal. But yeah, man, Vinny had a very good game. Let's just go through a few comments. Uh, I'm just trying to scroll it back. Vinny shows, Ashik says, Vinny shows no fear, but I always feel that Rodrigo at times holds back. He shows I think I already did that. Just give me a second. I think I scrolled back a bit too much.
Yeah, if you want, Ashik is saying like Cristiano will antagonize opponents, but he had a laser focus. Yeah, like it's just like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Turk says his dribbling and control and speed is already amazing. Everyone knows that. He just loses the ball a little too easy, and he also misses a lot of chances. Yes, Vinicius was never your bona fide poacher, man. Like Vinicius was never your bags man. Like he's not gonna bag every chance he gets, but at least he's getting into very, very dangerous positions and constantly giving the opposition defense something to think about. I'm especially talking about the second half. I
yeah,
know in recent weeks, especially in the Clasico, he was trying to do a bit too much, and that is Vinicius's downside. What he did so brilliantly last season was knowing when to say, you know what, I have to go back to my basics and try to do the simple things, which did wonders for him. Why he had like 40, I think 42 or 41 goals plus assists last season, all competitions, which is more than so many great names like Ribery, Robin have done in their illustrious careers. So Vinicius is here to stay. Vinicius is the future, and yeah, man, I just feel happy for him that he had some sort of a vindicative performance tonight. Even though Javier thinks it's still not good enough, but encouraging signs at least. Yeah, Javier,
yeah,
encouraging
it's
signs.
uh, like you said, it was a glimpse of the last season,
Hmm.
but all of our players seems to be in a glimpse of themselves. Once again, like you said, Vinicius last year knew how to lay back a little and let the other guys play because last year he had a Ballon d'Or Benzema.
Yeah.
This Benzema is not going to be nominated. Like
Let's
his current play
let's
is not even.
let's move on to Benzema. Man said he's not gonna be nominated, which I can't disagree with, man. Let's talk Benzema.
It's hard, but it's true.
He just looks a shadow of the 21-22 Benzema, right? Like he doesn't look like that very confident Benzema. Uh, I see flashes, I see flashes here and there, like a couple of neat tricks,
Yeah,
but it makes me wonder, like he always used to be nifty, he always used to have that neat feet, even back in the day when he wasn't so prolific with his goals. Like he used to still be very, very creative. But now it just seems like it is reverted back to, the old Kareem. Like I hope I'm wrong, but the more I see Kareem this season, it seems like that hunger is a tad bit lower.
yeah, but it's the same for everyone. Like if you have like a team that needs to work like a clock, you cannot blame the how do you say the
The what? The arms?
yeah, the arms of the clock,
Arms of the clock?
or not working because
Okay.
the completely mechanics is
Yeah.
behind them. So
Yeah.
if the defense is not working, if the midfield is not working,
Mm,
the arms they're
mm.
not going to work. But it is not fault of the arms; it's fault of the whole mechanism. So
But
this is the only thing that is worrying me because it's not that the fact that we lack some pieces, it's the fact that we don't seem to work as a unit.
mm,
You know, like
mm.
it's like when you jump a car, well, it's gonna work, but eventually it's gonna break again because you need a new battery. And this is the only thing that I'm like, like in the same regard, worried about, and somehow, relaxed to think that, yeah, it's not working right now, but it doesn't mean it's not gonna work because it works, and they show us that when Real Madrid machinery is working, it works better than anyone. So, yeah, we need Cross, we need Modric, we need Fede, we need Chouameni to Vini, Benzema, and Rodrigo to improve.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I completely agree with the fact that like Benzema is the spearhead of a mechanism that needs to work in tandem, that needs to move together, in order to be at their very best. And I was just looking at it from a very solo perspective of Benzema as a player. That last season, the stuff that he used to do, even when we used to have these kind of the lull between November to January, like Benzema was still standing out, which made me believe that was an anomaly. And I used to tell people, man, Benzema wouldn't be able to keep this up. It is not because I kind of doubt his talent. It is because I think it is too much of an ask at his age and the type of player he is, who relies on his body. It was a tall order. But yeah, let's just get into a few comments. Uh, yeah, Dark says, I think Benz just doesn't have the help he needs from midfield. Facts, man, facts. We need more runners from midfield. Like Cruz, yeah, he's not your guy to run from midfield, but people like Modric, they need to step it up. I know it is not right to ask a 37-year-old man to make constant, 80-yard sprints every now and then, but people like Benzema, man, they need help. Uh, which is what Turk points out. Turk again says when he gets the ball, he's always good with it. Just can't do much because no help. Ashik says Benz is suffering from global chip shortages like all other automakers. Yeah, cheeky one that. Turk says when our midfield play good, Benz is always more effective. If you've noticed, facts, facts. Um, Tuck also said this is why Bellingham rumors excite people. Imagine Bellingham feeding Benz. Well, yeah, that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. So many people are kind of against the splashing of like $100 million and €100 million and whatnot, but Bellingham will be worth it. Trust me, trust me.
And
He will.
Bellingham is like I talked to Jadu about this. I cannot be partial because I'm a Real Madrid fan and also a
Mm,
Borussia Dortmund fan. So
mm,
Bellingham is one of the best midfielders. I mean, if
period. Yeah.
someone in the center of the game is worth 100 million, it's probably Pedri and Bellingham. No one
Bellingham.
else. And
Absolutely, absolutely. It is more so the fact that like he has a lot of goals to his game. Like
but
he can.
it's not only like that, Sonny. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
I think the main quality of Bellingham is he's a true leader.
Yeah.
He's already one of the captains of the Borussia Dortmund. It's not an easy fixture. Like he's 19 and he's a captain of the team that has been playing for the past 3 years. He's not the same of his nationality, and because he's a true natural born leader. I see
Mm,
him like I don't know the next. I'm not gonna say Modric or Cross because he don't play like them at all. But he's a true one of the. He's gonna be if he comes. He's gonna be the main piece in the center part
mm,
because
absolutely.
of his leadership. And I think
Mm,
the guys are saying like, and maybe this is gonna be the perfect segue for the guy that needs to be praised even more than any other game, Ceballos. If you combine, like these Ceballos with, I don't know, someone like Eduardo, that's that's how Bellingham plays.
mm. Yeah, he's a perfect. He's kind of a. He also reminds me, like when I say goals, like it is to truly measure his greatness. Yeah, like I'm not trying to simplify his game.
I know, I know, I
What?
know.
Yeah, like when I see Bellingham, it is in a way a throwback to your Gerrards, your Lampards,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
your
Those,
your workhorses who can excel in both departments. Like uh, yeah, man, like Bellingham is exciting. But yeah, Benzema, moving back to Benzema, I just hope he regains back, some sort of his 21, 22 help, 21, 22 self, because we need that. Without that, I think we are looking at, like grim pickings this season, man. Grim pickings. But I don't think we have much to talk about Benzema. Like it wasn't nothing to brag home about. Like he helped the team. He helped the team. Like I can't deny that, like, but it wasn't one of his better games.
no,
But yeah, notable people of the bench, Javier. Let's start with Asensio. Again, a man who is trying to fight for his contract, trying to maybe fight for a move away. You can you can look at it either way. But Asensio, whenever he has been called upon this season, has been solid, solid.
yeah.
Anything
He's,
to yeah.
I said it in even prior to the World Cup. I think Asensio has earned his at least another talk with Florentino in terms of the renewal. I don't think Real Madrid should pay him more than a little extra that he's already earning, but it's crucial as a substitution. He's crucial,
Mm.
and
Like,
and
like
I think he understands his role in this Real Madrid, and if he's willing to keep this tendency, I think like he's gonna be he could potentially be here for the next 3 to 5 to 5. I don't know. He's still young, but he can easily um, move to another team and be great, but
mm.
not in a first club. You know, I don't see him in a top tier. I don't see
Like
any top tier club fighting for Asensio right now.
there
Or
won't be top tier clubs fighting for Asensio, man. Like I don't know.
or
Mudrik, who has had barely 50 senior appearances, was bought for like 100 million by Chelsea. He
yeah,
was
but
also paid by Arsenal. But I'm telling you, Asensio can do a job in any top side,
yeah,
in my opinion.
but the same job that he's asked to do in Real Madrid.
Mm.
You know, I don't see any, like Manchester United or Bayern Munich saying like, "Hey, Asensio, I want you to be the starting man. I
Yeah,
need you.
yeah.
I
He
see you as the replacement of Sane or I don't know."
let's get it right, Javier. Like he's not that guy who can just make the difference. Like he's not that good. But he's just, in my opinion, only a tire below excellent. He is very, very good. Like, um, see, if you asked me this question last year, when I could see the body language wasn't there, now Add the fighting spirit, add the extra motivation to his already exceptional talent. Asensio can clearly make a difference this season from the bench, and he proved it tonight again.
Yeah,
Picked out Ceballos with a picture perfect ball. Like it couldn't have been any more perfect. Like when I saw him make the run, I was like, oh my god, what is he gonna do? Where is he going to go? Like it's gonna be a straightforward um, ball across the box, probably to get cleared off or into the hands of the keeper. But he found Ceballos, and yeah, rest is history. But
if you
let's move
ask
on to yeah.
if you
Go
ask
ahead.
me, that you remember the last season, I was strongly against Asensio's being in any role of this team.
Mm,
But like you said, in the same regard, the Dani Ceballos goal, when Bini touches the ball, I instantly think like Asensio is not gonna run for it because it was a little bit too hard of Bini's pass, and I think this Asensio is not gonna. And last season Asensio, it was like probably like he's gonna make a gesture to Bini like, "What do you want? I'm not gonna reach that ball." But this
mm,
new mentality, Asensio, reached
mm,
that ball.
yeah, facts.
And Asensio has always had the class to put that ball to Ceballos. He was just lacking the willingness to be a team player. I
Yeah,
agree. He's not going to be the star anywhere. He
mm,
could be a very crucial number 12, even
absolutely,
13, 14 player in a Real
absolutely,
Madrid. So
absolutely.
what do you want? Be no one in a top
Yeah,
tier team or
yeah.
be
Be the 12th man, in an excellent Real Madrid side, which needs a 12th man, which
yeah,
needs some sort of, a different twist from the bench. And since we're on Asensio, I'm just going to read out his quote from the post match. He says, "My future, we are in talks with the club. We'll see what happens. I want to renew. I want to stay at Real Madrid for a long time, but it's something that doesn't just depend on me." Very, honest, brutal assessment of where Asensio's contract stands at this moment in time. But I genuinely see, like, if he keeps this up and we end up winning something big, like, I see him staying. But yeah, let's move on to Danny Ceballos, my man of the match, probably everyone's man of the match. What a performance, man. Bravo. Like, we couldn't have asked for a bigger impact from the bench than that. Like, and it was an unlikely hero, right, Javier?
no. I'm
You don't
and
think that?
no, I think Danny Ceballos, because I remember the first time I saw Danny Ceballos was in a under 21 Euro.
Mm,
I think he was against Italy or so. I don't remember the game, but I remember like, wow, this guy is incredible. We
mm,
need to buy him. And like 3 weeks later, Don Floren make that happen. This was like, I don't know, 6 years ago or so. And 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 this Danny, this is special Danny. And even so, I said in the same regard as Asensio, I think Danny Ceballos has earned his new contract once again in the same regard as Asensio. You're not gonna be the next big thing, but you're gonna be a crucial player, and even more so in this current uh, 22, 2022, 2023 um, Real Madrid. I think the only one that can replace Modric creativity in the midfield, it's only Dani Ceballos.
high
And we
praise.
saw him, and we saw that today. He participates in the 3 goals, but also knew that I need to physically sacrifice. And that's the thing for in this season. I don't regret any game. Sometimes things can move in the favor of Daniel or so, but he always give his 100% in the physical regard. He
Mm,
sacrificed more than anyone. He
yeah.
tries and tries and tries again. And at least for me, is one of the key factors that hard work usually pays off. And today we saw the payoff. Dani Ceballos was a crucial game, and we saw the celebration. Like, do you remember the celebration of Dani? Like, lay on the field, like, this is this is what I need. This is what I've been um, sacrificing myself for the past years, with the injury, with the loan to Arsenal, with the potential move back to Betis. I mean, this guy is still young. I think he's like 25 or so. He he could be, if Dani Ceballos bring this to the team, there's no argue that he needs to be. Uh, I don't know if a starting man, but we can somehow rest if Modric is not
Yeah,
here
yeah.
next year.
Like now, especially like if you ask me, like if you ask me 2 hours before the same question, like I wouldn't be able to say this. But now, after that second half, like I can maybe kind of be at a bit more peace if I get to know that Modric or Cruz have a niggle, like and might miss the next game. Like Ceballos can do a job, man. Can do a job. Like I think that the more I see Ceballos this season, and especially the latter stages of last season, the knockouts, how he kind of managed to be composed and control the game
Yeah,
and whatnot. I have this very cautiously optimistic confidence, about Ceballos' chances in making a difference this season. And like you said, like he might not be the guy who breaks into the first team, but very very crucial to all great sides. They need characters like these, people who fight like Ceballos. Like in this age, like usually when we were growing up, Javier, like fight was the bare minimum. Remember, fight was the bare minimum. Fight wasn't something that people asked for, but now it is something that so many players lack. That I'm very very proud of Danny tonight. Like I can't like
but
I yeah, go on.
if you compare, like you said, like Lampard and what was the other guy? Uh,
Gerard,
Gerard.
Steven
Yeah,
Gerrard.
Gerard has well, Gerard had a character. You know,
Yeah.
you need a character to have a Gerard,
Mm.
and you need who was, I forgot if Chelsea has one. Probably
Lampard,
yeah.
Drogba was the guy. Was
Yeah,
the
Lampard
dude.
was the creative one, but
Mm.
um the best Manchester United had Roy Keane. We used to have a Casemiro. It's not this. I don't mean to think like a fighter in the same of a strong or uh, tackle player. Like,
Yeah.
no, this guy that
Not.
doesn't give a ball for granted anywhere.
Mm.
No time. Sometimes he's Fede. Sometimes he's even Chouameni. But I think uh, if you have a creative player that also sacrifice a lot, it's one of the best qualities that you can ask for attacking midfield. And
Absolutely.
and I think
Absolutely.
Danny's loan to Arsenal uh, teach him that
Yeah.
is not is not going to be enough with your talent,
Mm.
not in a top tier team.
No, 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 no. And like if you look at Danny's career trajectory, like when he was bought out from Real Betis, he like you said earlier, like when you first saw him in the under 21 World Cup, like he had a brilliant under 20 World Cup, if I remember as well. He was thought to be the next big thing, but it didn't quite plan out to how people anticipated. But it is definitely better than what Ceballos thought how his Real Madrid career is going to go 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Like it's been a win-win for both parties.
he could
But
he
yeah,
could easily go for like in the same uh, regardless, I don't know, like what's the name of this guy that is from Real Sociedad, then moved to Real Madrid, and then moved back to Real Sociedad. Villarreal.
Yaramendi?
Yeah,
Yaramendi.
they could easily be the same path. You know, like a
Mm,
youngster that exceeds in their team, move to
mm.
Real Madrid, doesn't work, and move back and doesn't work.
Ceballos was looking kind of the same, but yeah, last season was the turning point. Was a turning point. Was a
The
turning.
chat is, if you ask me, I'm gonna jump in the conversation because they're like saying that usually in the talk about Bellingham, they're saying
Yeah,
like
I was reading it. I was reading it.
they say like there's no a good history of English players in Real Madrid, and I think yeah probably, but it's almost impossible to find a very good English player outside of the Premier League. It's not that common.
Mm.
So in that regard, Bellingham playing in Germany, it's a little relief for me because
It is
he's
a bit different. He has that exposure. He has
yeah
that exposure. Like he's not gonna be like your typical English lads. He doesn't. At least when you see him giving interviews and whatnot, he doesn't look like the big headed English characters. Like Jude seems like an exception. But we are kind of moving towards the end of our episode. Before we do that, we have a few interesting stats, man. Real Madrid have managed to win at Ceramica after 6 years, bro. 6 fucking years.
okay. So that will probably move to my. I was it's a deja vu, Sonic, because I was remember again, once again, 2-0. It was La Liga. It was, I think, February or so.
Mm.
We're losing 2-0, and we end up winning the game, if you remember, with a goal of Morata. I think is one.
I
I,
don't recall, unfortunately. It's
I
a
think
while.
it was a Bale, and then I don't know, probably Ronaldo because he was always like that. But I remember it was like
Was it
2-0,
2016, 17? Zidane? Under Zidane?
17, 16, 17, I think.
Mm.
So that would be probably the last win in La Ceramica.
Mm.
Once again, 2-0 being defeated, and
Yeah,
then
it says, yeah, it said 16, 17. Yes.
it will
3-2.
probably be like that game.
It's from Madrid Extra, so yeah, it's 16, 17, 3-2. I think
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's the same game.
It's that the game. It's that game.
Mm. Mm.
So
Same game.
being remontadas in La Cerámica.
It took 7 years to replicate it, and it's not even in the league. I mean, that is the only downside to it. It's the Copa del Rey, but we'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it any day. Also, I also read this is the first time that we scored 3 goals in a game since Celtic in November, bro. That is bad. That is bad. You know, when I was growing up, when you were growing up, we were a team that used to score goals for fun. You know,
Yeah.
goals for fun, goals galore. And now we have kind of, I don't know, moved on with modern times, and we are just not that uh, all out guns blazing anymore. Like we are much more uh, conservative team in so many aspects. Also interesting, very interesting. Real Madrid's possible opponents in the quarterfinals. Bilbao, who we are going to face on Sunday. Do you know if it's away at San Mames or is it at home? San
No.
Mames.
Yep.
Fuck.
Yeah, the
Gonna
next
be
game at Bernabeu is Real Sociedad.
Sociedad. Yeah, 29th or something. Yeah. Yeah, San Mames is gonna be a, a fucking cauldron, man. Like,
It will be the same ambience
yeah,
as today, the
yeah, yeah.
same animosity.
San Mames is gonna be a tough place to play. Like, I have always rated Bilbao, man. Like how they do their business. Like, looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Yeah, look out for a preview, man. If like I don't know if it'll be like tomorrow or Saturday, but yeah, like there's 20 of you in the chat. like we have had like over 40 people watching us tonight. Like if you like what we do, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget, turn on the notification icon so that whenever we schedule a post match or a preview or any kind of an episode, that you guys are in the know. And like we are all like full-time professionals who have like full-time jobs. Like it is kind of a very difficult proposition to do this consistently, and we are people from all across the world. Like I live in NA, and Javier is from Mexico. It is different, but it is difficult, but we still manage to somehow make this happen. So if you like what we do, would appreciate smashing the like and subscribing to our channel. Yeah, possible opponents: Bilbao, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Osasuna, Sevilla, Sociedad, Valencia. Come on, pick your poison. Who is the easiest?
Sevilla.
Sevilla, man. Yeah.
Yeah, Sevilla for the, their main focus is to save relegation in La Liga.
Yeah.
So it's
Who
an
would
easy
have thought?
pick. Who would
Mm.
thought that Sevilla is going to be the easiest pick? But
Losing two center backs. That's it. Finito. You know.
yeah, and
Incredible.
trying to fix it with Isco.
Man, it felt so fucking sorry for Isco, man. Anyway, it is what it is. But yeah, the quarterfinals look spicy, man. I haven't been this excited about the Copa del Rey in forever.
They're all
This
top teams.
yeah, this
Yeah,
this this go on, Jaime.
I think it's an exciting. Doris is agreeing with me in the chat. Like
Yeah,
she's
please.
agreeing with me with we want Sevilla.
Obviously, she doesn't have any sympathy for Sevilla. Like she has always mentioned that. But yeah, the official man of the match is Militao. Really? I mean, yeah, like he had a monstrous second half, but come
Yeah,
on, man.
but it's Dani Ceballos all along.
Ceballos, any day, every day.
2 assists and a goal, and
Yeah,
he's not man of the match.
I don't understand either, man. Honestly, I don't understand.
If
Uh,
you're checking, like sometimes the pages make that the impact that a substitution have.
yeah.
I mean, it will be probably all blue in
Mm,
in favor of Danny, but yeah,
mm. Yeah, like one interesting question I need to ask you, Javier. I need to ask you this. So Chouameni was in Paris today for the Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week or some shit, and apparently he was given like so much stick by fans, telling that like why the like going out to fashion shows when his team is playing a very crucial knockout game in the Spanish Cup. And he personally had to come out and basically post an apology on Twitter. He says, I apologize to my club, the coaching staff, my teammates, and the Madrid fans for my presence at an event while we were playing Copa del Rey. I've been attentive to what was happening in Villarreal, which is absolutely fucking bullshit. I don't believe that. But I have not done the right thing. I am so sorry. But like, do you think players are supposed to come out and apologize for
no,
taking time off?
no, but no, but
Yeah.
the apologize is done, but
Mm,
it's even more done that he thinks that any apology is gonna be good. Then the only thing that you need to do is like, hey, talk to your teammates, like, congrats, team. I'm sorry I wasn't there, and move on. Because
mm,
whatever you said on social media
yeah.
is gonna be against you. If
Yeah.
you say like, hey, congrats, someone is gonna post, hey, you weren't there. Or hey, I apologize for not being there. It's done. I think it's beyond
Yeah. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I mean,
yeah.
that is the
But I
scenario.
think Carlo has the
Final say.
yeah, they
Like
have
that.
um not problem with anyone at this point. I read yesterday that they are trying to to make some controversy with Modric, and like in the like, oh, the team is not happy with Modric,
Mm.
and that's why he's not
People write
gonna
so much
be
shit.
convocated. And
People
I was
write.
like, but it was a Spanish reporter that I trust. For me, was like, are you sure? And
Was it
then I was
Relevo? Was it Relevo?
no, it was
Dario is?
no, it was it's a YouTuber, but it's
Oh, fair, fair,
Miguel.
fair.
It's called Miguel Serrano. I trust him,
Mm.
but I don't know if it was a clickbait. I didn't, like
People,
trust the
people
video.
need to, people need to eat.
Yeah,
Let's get that straight.
but making a controversy with Carlo and Modric is probably one of the dumbest fights that you can pick.
Yeah, yeah. Also, like I need to. Yadu was telling me he needs to sleep. Like let's wrap this up. But one
Yeah,
last thing, Yadu, bear with us. Tas Ali, but this is also something that I noticed during the game. I need to bring it up. Something happened when he subbed off Rodrigo today between Carlo and Rodrigo. Did you
yeah,
see that? They were having
yeah.
a
I saw it.
conversation. I don't. I don't know. Like what would have gone wrong. Like, can you read into it, Javier? Like, if you
I
can.
I only saw like 2 or 3 seconds of that.
Me too.
That's
Me
the
too.
only
But
thing.
there was some words exchanged, and Rodrigo looked like tensed. you know,
Rodrigo looked like a guy that's been substitute and he's not happy with his performance.
performance. Yeah, yeah.
And I think it could be probably misinterpreted because the narrator here is like saying like Carleto is saying to Rodrigo like we already scored one. Like
Mm,
I think it's like I think he Carleto is saying like Rodrigo like we're 1 goal left. That's why I substitute you. Like I don't see Carleto like picking a fight with an angry player,
mm,
and I don't think Rodrigo is the kind of player like is gonna be mad at the manager for being substitute, especially after this game. I think
yeah.
Rodrigo was mad to himself, and Carleto is trying to even comfort him, like saying, "We already scored one." I don't, I don't think there's any controversy
Mm,
with the. I just saw the frame, and I think it's like both of them are tense
yeah.
because we're losing 2-1.
Mm.
Nothing more than that. I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of press stuff from Carlo. I'll just pick out the most important one. He said, "We won, yes, but we can't forget how bad we played in the first half." Absolutely, Carlo. The evidence is in plain sight. I hope you saw what went wrong
But
in the
but
first half.
but that's why Carlo is a man, you know,
Yeah.
because he recognized
Mm,
if we move to the Barca side and they say like Xavi will say like, oh, we played the whole game, but we won. Like
yeah.
even if we're 2-0, we played like we won. And Carleto knows like, no, this cannot happen again. I will work my ass to to be
Absolutely.
better.
Absolutely. Like one final thought that I have before we wrap this up. Yeah, this is literally the last because I was watching this DAZN documentary about Mourinho, and I think it was part two where it was showing Jose Mourinho's Inter's final against Bayern, coached by Louis van Gaal. Who was Mourinho's head coach at Barca back in the day. So it was basically the perfect final, setup for the master versus the apprentice, and like Mourinho blatantly says, like, I have so much respect for Louis van Gaal. Like he taught me the first major lessons in coaching and whatnot. But he says that this man had a clear weakness. A clear weakness was his ego, and Jose says that Louis van Gaal's ego won't allow him to shift from his ideologies, be a little more humble in his approach to a final. And he says that that was the weapon I used against him to win that game, where Milito, I think, scores 2 goals.
In the
Milito,
Bernabeu.
yeah, at the Madrid as well. Yeah, funnily enough. Um, So in that aspect, you will what you said, Carlo is a very brave man. Like he knows when to humble himself and humble his own team, when it needs be, and not let people, um, go out of control. So yeah, man, like big up Carlo. This has been a wild ride this season. People were saying statements like, it shouldn't be a repeat of 2015 and whatnot. I don't think it'll be a repeat of 2015. The signs are much more better compared to 2015 when we had so many major injuries. We have had like some tired legs because of the World Cup and whatnot, but this is understandable. Uh, all our players need, in my opinion, is rest and belief being, instilled into them. And I think, we can run it back again, like last season. But yeah, any final thoughts, Javier, before we go?
I'm happy for the result, obviously. More happy with the fact that I, like I said in the beginning, is it wasn't the second stone in our grave. I hopefully that we move on to this bump. If you ask me, we still have time to look in the transfer window for a right back. We need it. Even if
Vinicius Tobias needs to be given a chance. Like people say that he is not quite the polished product yet. Like, but he should be given a chance, man. In my opinion, he should be given a chance.
yeah, but a chance is not the same like I need an
Mm.
starting man right now.
But do you think it's realistic, man, in January,
No,
especially for us, especially
no,
for
it's not gonna be. That's why I said like we need it. Yes, it's it's possible. Yes, it's gonna happen. No, because
Mm.
we don't usually make transfer windows. I mean, we still have like what, like 10, 15 days.
Yeah, 10 days.
I mean, if someone is available for a right price, I think the the directors need to look out for it because we need a right back. Like
Fresneda has been mentioned a lot of times from Valladolid. Like he looks like a promising player. He used to be in our academy as well. But I don't think any negotiations are possible in the winter transfer window. And if anybody's willing to sell, they'll know that they'll look at Carvajal and be, oh man, he's in the hospital like half of the time. They're in desperate need of a right back. We are gonna hold the ransom and ask for exorbitant amounts.
I
So
think we can pick someone in La Liga or in the round of 20 to 25 million. It's not
mm,
easy, it's not cheap, but we need a fix like right now. So if in that regard, that's the only thing that I worry, and we
mm,
can fix it.
mm. Yeah. Well, on that note, yeah, I'll say it's wishful thinking, but I hope like some sort of solution. At least Carlo trusting more of the like youth, our academy prospects is on the cards for the latter half of the season. But yeah, love the support all of you guys have shown us tonight, man. This has been a pleasant surprise. The chat has been popping off from minute one. It's so heartwarming to see that like we can gather around here in this sort of euphoria. Um, like because we were in a very bad predicament, and for us to turn it around in 45 minutes tonight, I think it's gonna go a long, long way to kind of reinstilling that belief that we can do magical things in the second part of this season. um yeah, like if you love what we do, if you can appreciate what we do, smash the like button and smash the subscribe button, and turn on the notifications on. Big up Tasaliba, big up Elmas, big up Ashik, all of you guys who have been in the chat and constantly been supporting us. um Check out our partners on Instagram, Real Madrid Committee. They run a brilliant Real Madrid fan page. Check them out. Also, uh, look out for us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere you can listen to audio podcasts as well. We have amassed over 15, sorry, my bad, 14K, 14,000 plays over the past year. So yeah, like love for all the support that you guys have been showing us. So yeah, until next time, Hala Madrid.
Real Madrid.